So, gas prices are up about 20 cents where I'm at. And thankfully, yesterday there wasn't any type of terrorist attack on American soil yesterday. And hopefully I'm wrong when I predict and other people predict that there will probably be terrorist attacks in some type in the future, because the Democrats just let anybody over here. And what's interesting is Joe Biden actually deported more people, 778,000 people his last year of office, and Trump has reportedly deported around 700,000 people in 13 months. And now, I will give Trump credit because there's about 2.2 million self-deportations. And Joe Biden obviously let the border open so he can just, they can just allow, he just allowed anybody to come over. But it's kind of interesting that, even Trump said that he's not trying to deport every illegal alien because, our economy or whatever. But we have plenty of people who aren't, that can, work, and so what, you have to raise the prices on strawberries or blueberries, whatever, almonds, the prices go up. Because you need Americans that actually get paid properly instead of slave labor. But yeah, the prices are going up, and here's the thing: is where's the golden age? Is it a golden age for Israel? I think that instead of bombing Iran, I think that Rubio said something about, since Israel bombed Iran, that they were going to retaliate and bomb American bases. Like, why do we have those bases over there? Why? Shouldn't they be like a NATO type of base, or some type of coalition type of base, not just an American base? Iran's been bombing all these different countries, I guess, in response to them getting bombed. And I'm not defending Iran. I'm not trying to defend them at all. I don't like the leadership that they had. I thought they were a disgusting leadership. They're tyrannical. But there's no plan to replace them with anything. There could be something that's worse that replaces them. We just made Iran unstable, just like we did Iraq. And I hope that the people come and, turn it into something that maybe what America was intended to be, not what it is now. But we can't afford this shit, man. Like, I can't even afford health insurance. Glenn Beck was on, I just seen a video of Glenn Beck saying, he was responding to Elon Musk saying that, don't worry about, squirreling away retirement. It's like, dude, I haven't been able to squirrel away any type of retirement. The retirement is the last thing on my mind. It's basic survival for the average. And I look at myself as I'm in a pretty okay position, like I somewhat own my car. When I say somewhat, I mostly own my car. The state of Missouri owns partial of my vehicle because of property taxes, but it's all paid off. It works. It's over 100,000 miles, but hopefully, the only thing I have to worry about is a transmission going out, and hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon. But, I can't even afford health insurance. You know what I mean? It's like you think I can save for retirement? I can't even afford health insurance. Um, I wish I could. I wish I could afford health insurance. It's just like the health insurance is trash anyway. So it's such a weird thing. It's almost like that because I would go bankrupt either way trying to meet the deductible. That's why it's such a scam. It's like, what am I paying you for? And why are the prices so high? Why do they feel like they have to do that? Why they, you know what I mean? I don't think it's just the health insurance. I think it's the hospitals overcharging everybody. And what is being done about this? What is being done about anything? You know, they're trying to put this Save Cares Act, which is fine. Probably should have been done a long time ago, you know, basically during the first Trump administration. But no, they don't want to try to pass it. And then they just wheelchair Mitch McConnell out there. And it's like, no, this isn't going to happen. It's like, what? So like, what do you, the do nothing Republicans? You got the Democrats who are actively trying to destroy our country by any means to gain power forever. Now, I think that once they gain the power, then they'll start, you know, becoming more like, okay, we have the power now. We don't want to destroy because like, they're willing to destroy for short-term gains, short-term, you know, to gain power. But then once they gain that power, they don't want to rule on nothing. You know, at some point they'll regress in their beliefs, and because they have power now. Like, the only reason that they are trying to destroy our country is to gain power, which is absolutely ridiculous. And the Republicans are destroying our country by doing nothing. They don't solve any problems. Either side will solve any problems, and you know, either side will defend Israel. You know, I think that we should just be bombing Israel at this point. You're like, oh, you want to bomb Iran? We'll bomb you. What are you gonna nuke us? Well, then we'll nuke you back. Like, what? It's so stupid. The whole thing is stupid. We should cut off Israel completely. They are not an asset in any means. They don't do enough for us to warrant hurting American citizens, you know, people in my position. You know, prices get to go up now. You know, this is Trump's golden age. It's, you know, help out Iran. I mean, Israel. And the funny thing is with these MAGA people is they're sitting here like, oh, you're for Iran. No, not for Iran. Like, what are you talking about? I'm for America first. I'm for fixing our problems here. Like, why do we have to fix Israel's problems? Let them fix their own problems. Let them fight their own battles. They want to fight everybody. Let them fight everybody. We don't need to sit here. Like, who's fighting for the working class? And, you know, who rose up for the working class in the 1920s? This is what I'm saying is, like, it's, you know, the difference is we have jobs, but these jobs are basically slave labor at this point. They don't, you know, this is what we're being told, that we have to be thankful for these jobs, that they provide us to live. You know what I mean? Barely. They don't provide everything. They don't provide health care, all these benefits that they say. They don't pay that well at all. And it's like, dude, how do I not get paid well and I'm producing stuff? Like, you need people. You know, I'm seeing people. Oh, there's no jobs. There is jobs. There is jobs. They're horrible jobs that nobody wants to work, because it's like you're basically working for free. And it's so crazy that we are continuously, as in the working class, being treated like shit, not being taken care of. And we produce everything. It's like, if we stop working, you guys, not only am I fucked, but so are you. Everybody's fucked if we stop working. Everybody. We are the most valuable asset to America is the working class because we produce shit, we service, we do shit. What do these parasites, these rich parasites, do at this point? Oh, they make jobs. What jobs do they make? Do they make shitty fucking jobs that they don't want to pay nobody? They make 200 on average 280 times more than the lowest worker. Why? For what reason? Like, dude, at this point, you make $100 an hour, or even like a lawyer, $200 an hour, 300, even five. Like I said the other day, $500 an hour. That shit weren't enough. You know what I mean? But no, you want to make, $500 an hour is like 21 times the lowest worker back in the 50s. But they want to make 280, and it's not just them. It's not just the greedy corporations. It's also our government. The government is probably the biggest culprit because they're all, not all, but like they're so corrupt. I've said this stuff a million times, but like they keep printing out money. When they print out money, that causes inflation. That inflation is a tax on us. We have to pay higher prices. We have to have lower buying power because the stupid government won't stop printing out money and then taxing us at a high rate. Imagine our founding fathers who started a revolution. Do you think that they would have paid 33% in taxes or whatever? You know what I mean? It's like we're just like tired of this shit, and it's all absurd. This whole thing is absurd, and I'm not trying to black pill anybody. I'm just speaking the truth. It's been absurd for the longest time. This whole world is basically absurdity. And it's like what we are is institutionalized. We're domesticated. It's like we basically are what we are is like a house cat. You try to release a fat house cat into the wild and expect them to survive, they're probably not going to survive. That's what basically we are as citizens. We have to continue going on, whether we like it or not. Like, nobody wants to do these jobs. I hear all these people who make money doing what I'm doing now, trying to tell me like, they try to browbeat people like me into like, you should be thankful. You should be thankful. And I am thankful for what I have, but I can acknowledge where I'm getting left behind as well. You know what I mean? I shouldn't be being left behind. I shouldn't be falling through the cracks. I work hard. I work harder than you motherfuckers. I'll tell you something right now. All of these people that are like, you have to do all this, you gotta become successful. You have to like run 5 businesses, and you have to have like the most elite body, save all this money, check all these boxes of being like the most productive human ever. I bet you I can outwork all of you. I bet you I can outwork all of you. I started writing a book, and I got pretty far into it. I wrote about 11 chapters in about 12-hour period. Some of it when I was at work. It took an hour for me to get to work, and in that time I took a nap as well. So I probably wrote those 11 chapters in about a 6-hour period. I put out probably 4,000 to 8,000 words, something around there. And Grok told me like that's an extreme amount of output. Like that is top tier output. And I was feeding Grok each chapter, telling Grok, asking Grok what it thought. And it's like, it wasn't tailing off. It was high level. It was, um, it wasn't just like start, getting me showing my fatigue. It was, in fact, and maybe even was getting stronger. At least being at the same level. And so, in this, I was writing like basically a memoir too, a separate thing, and I wrote both. Both of them have been this year. I would sit down for 4 hours straight. I'm just thinking like 4 hours straight, just thinking about my childhood and just like, and just like typing right on my phone, just like writing it on my phone for like 4 hours straight. And I'd be like, put out so much output. And obviously, this is a rough draft. Misspellings, grammar is horrible, but I can take each chapter and put it into Grok, and Grok can clean it all up, and then I can copy paste it. But another thing too is the fact that I drove from where I'm at, Missouri, all the way to Michigan, to Detroit, Michigan, to go pick up my kid, and drove all the way back. He couldn't drive. He didn't have his license at the time. And I basically slept like an hour at a rest stop. I made the whole trip in about 31 hours. I a couple times, I probably stopped off and took a couple 15-minute naps here and there and got back on the road. But the fact that I drove that, was it over 1,600 miles in a 31, dude, like, so if I'm locked in and, on something, and something interests me, I can outwork just about anybody. I have to be interested though. So like all these people are like, oh, dude, I can outwork you if I really want to. But the thing is like, here's the thing too, and I've been thinking about like the absurdity of all of this shit, of everything. It's just pretty much absurd. You can work your ass off like these red pill guys are saying. Go ahead, work your ass off and do all this and that. But it's like 50, 100 years from now, you'll be, remembered just as much as a bottom feeder like me. or like a janitor or somebody who cleans toilets. You will be remembered just as much as them. We're all going to be forgotten about, and this is what makes me so, like, I think that you have to, which is hard for me, is to enjoy your current situation as much as you possibly can while trying to think about tomorrow. Or you really can't think too long term in this environment, but thinking, a couple months ahead, I think is crucial. Thinking years ahead is pretty ridiculous, but thinking, and it should be, everything should be stable so we can think like years ahead in the society. But we can't. So, because everything is just like, you don't know what to invest in, even if you could invest, you don't have the money to invest. It's like, dude, I feel like I'm just talking about the same stuff I've talked about before. But there's this person, I forgot, Camus, and Camus basically said there's no point to try to figure out why we're here. Um, I think there is, but because people just like blindly go into things and just try to figure out a purpose. I think that we have to make up our own purposes. I think partial of the purpose is survival. Some of it's immediate, some of it's long term. Like, how long can you hold your breath? How long can you go without water? These are the two things that will kill you the quickest, naturally. If you're in a comfortable environment. So you try to hold your breath, you're gonna eventually just you have to breathe. No, I don't think anybody's held their breath until they died. You know, that whole trope of like little kids. I'm gonna hold my breath until I get my way. You know, it's just kind of ridiculous. I think that there is so for instance, if you know there's nothing you can do, if you feel like there's something you can do for your immediate survival, you're gonna try to do that. It is really hard for somebody to just like I said, hold their breath, go into underwater and just like, you know, basically take themselves out. They're not going to be able to do that. The will is gonna take over, the will to survive. The pain and the suffering to get to the other side is just, you know, that's why people take when they try to take themselves out, they do the quick way. But, you know, like if I seen like 1,000-foot wave coming at me, you know, there is this kind of like, it's like you accept it. There's nothing you can do. You're just fucked. You see an asteroid coming, like a big ball of fire coming at you. There's not much you can do. You're just kind of like, in that second before it takes you, it's kind of like total acceptance. And some people do have this. They've kind of, they have like, if they're drowning, they have accepted it, and then they're like, then they try to fight, and then some people have survived different scenarios with that. But I don't think that taking yourself out is, it's like, I have to be careful about this, and I've talked about this in my book I haven't published, but what's worse, like if I you know, there's a polar bear coming at me, he's gonna eat me alive. There's nothing I can do, or I can, you know, quickly I'm gonna sit here and suffer while he, or what, but I can take, like, it's just, I can't talk about this on here, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm getting at. If you have a way to end it quickly, are you gonna take that? You're probably gonna take that. But is he gonna, like, it's. I don't know, and I think that as absurd as everything is, and like, we don't know why we're here, what's the point of any of this, I think that you should want to at least see what happens. At least, even if it's like, yeah, we do suffer, like, okay, we do go through a Mad Max, and, you know, you do have that, you know, you get taken out by some roving gang of degenerates, or, you know, you basically dehydrate to death, I think it's best to see what happens at least with society, because I don't think it's gonna go on like this. It's completely unsustainable what we're doing, and possibly you could be the solution of the future if stuff does break down. Um, you could be a rebuilder, something, you know, would help people out, help out the future help out good people, help out innocent people. Uh, because it's like, it's easy to be black pilled, it really is. And part of the reason why, I feel like I've been basically living in a communist, socialist type of environment for the longest time. Going to work and only I've been in this position for a while. This isn't nothing new to me. I've had this. And what's kept me going is, well, my kids, that's one thing, being there for them, making sure they're taken care of, not letting them down. So that could be your friends. That could be your immediate family members. And if you don't have any of that, it could be an animal, maybe a pet. You know what I mean? You wouldn't want your cat or your dog to dehydrate to death because, you know what I mean? So it could be that. It could be any of that. So it's like you have to if you don't have a reason, you have to make one. You have to make a reason for your purpose. You have to find something. You have to, even if it's absurd to you, you just like, it's just kind of like accepting this is kind of absurd. And part of the reason too is like when I'm working, I'm was working with like a crew. I want to, even though like my current life, I'm basically a slave. I don't want to, there's people that lean on me. There's people that when I go to work, like they need my help, and I try to, work for the people around me. I don't try to work for my bosses or, that's basically what I'm trying to get at. If you feel like it's as absurd, is just work for the people around you. If you don't think you're good enough for yourself, you have to work for the people around you. Because there are people that somebody has to care about you, whether you think so or not. And I've gone through this myself. Like nobody gives a shit, nobody cares about me, but there is somebody who will be affected. And yes, they'll move on if something, but still, like, you don't want to take that way out. You don't want to self-harm. You want to try to keep fighting. Just try to keep fighting. Rebel against absurdity, Just rebel against it. Yeah, this is absurd, but so what? I don't care. Just like that video I tried to make yesterday talking about it's okay to be average. I think that this life is about having balance. It's cool to have, the digital and be interested in the digital or TV, movies, and entertainment. Participate in some of the hedonistic things that aren't gonna destroy your life. Like that's why I'm all like, marijuana is fine. I think that it's cool. In moderation, obviously. If you like to drink alcohol, that's cool too, as long as it's in moderation. Psychedelics, yeah, whatever, man. If that makes you, if that gives you, because we need like a short term, we can't just sit here and keep plowing for long-term things when we don't know what the long term, we don't know what it was so easy 20, 50 years ago to think, well, this is what's probably going to happen. We'll be fine. I'm sure the people during the Depression probably felt very similar to how we feel, where we can't really think too far ahead. We had, you're back to the basic survival, and that's where a lot of us are at. And it pisses me off when these elites are like, because we're still at survival level, and we're being pushed down to be even more and more survivalist. But anyway, so that's it. I'm gonna make that video for now. But yeah, don't self-harm. Keep fighting against the absurdity. Keep rebelling against it. Figure out. Even if like you have no one else and it's just like you have a chat bot. You know what I mean? That's just pretend the chat bot, what is the chat bot gonna do when you're not around anymore? You know what I mean? Whatever you gotta do to, there's something that you can find. There's like an animal, people. Figure out something.